to our flute lesson. My name is Rolayne Young. We're the Timpanogos Flute Circle. We are on lesson number 2 of a series of 8 lessons on how to play the Native American style wood flute. So today we are going to talk about breath control. We talked about it a little bit in lesson 1. Breathing from the diaphragm, and I just want to stress how important it is to get in the habit of breathing from the diaphragm, because you can play longer and you can have more control over your flute and some of the embellishments that you're trying to play and some of the things that you're trying to do with the flute. So I just wanted to go over that just a little bit again. Remember, you can lay on the bed and play your flute, because while you're laying down, you're forced to do more breathing from the diaphragm. Now, another thing we want to cover is tonguing and slurring. Slurring is when, and it's considered an embellishment, and it's when you just play one note after the other, and they're kind of slurred and run together. Just slid my block out of place here, so let me retie this.
That's what I understood.
Yeah, sometimes the block gets out of place and your music gets kind of squeaky. Okay, I'm going to slur these first notes. Now we're going to learn a procedure that we call tonguing. Ta, ta, ta. The tip of your tongue is going to touch the roof of your mouth just behind your teeth. And as you play, you're going to go ta, ta, ta. Separates each individual note, and it makes it easier so that when you go to play the same note more than once, you can actually do that. If you try to do that while you're slurring, you're really not going to get any extra notes. I'll try and do this. I have such a habit of tonguing that it's hard for me not to. Can't do it. Without tonguing, you cannot separate those notes, and you cannot play the same note in a row. And you notice when you look at sheet music and songs that are written, there are times that they will play the same note 2 or 3 times before they move on. And with the flute, we want to be able to do the same thing. So for us to do it, we tongue up. Another thing that tonguing does is it helps us to develop a rhythm in our song. If you just play around and practice ta 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 ta, you've got a rhythm there. If you take and put that to your flute, I'm not going to be able to create the same that I just did because my memory's not that good. But my song kept a rhythm all the way through it. I was just playing random notes, but I had a beat that was going through it. That beat and that rhythm was created by my tongue, ta, 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 ta. So that will help you to create a little rhythm in your song, and it makes it more of a song and less of just a bunch of notes being played at the same time. Slurring is kind of an embellishment where you can be playing along and then all of a sudden you just stop the tonguing and it gives you a little bit of an embellishment to your song. I hope you could notice the difference between the tonguing and the slurring because it gives a little variety to your song. We're now decorating our house. As we learn the basic structures of playing the flute, we're building a house. We're putting studs up and we're putting up a roof. But now we're putting some decorations on the wall. We're putting in some carpet. We're putting in some pictures, things like that. So embellishments are fun, they're creative, they take a little practice, and you just kind of have to work to try and decide where to fit those embellishments in. But they do make your songs much prettier. Okay, another thing that we want to do is develop some rhythm patterns, and I've just kind of drawn this out. On the lesson plans on the website, my computer wouldn't make long lines, so it's just a little teeny short line, but this is what it's supposed to look like. And the long line is for holding out a long note. The U shape is for short, quick notes. This can give you rhythm patterns to songs that you're playing so that you can keep the same pattern on your song all the way through. The rhythm or the sound of that might have sounded a little familiar to you. Maybe something you can't quite put your finger on, but there's something familiar about it. In my head I was thinking Jack and Jill went up the hill. I didn't play it to sound like that. All I wanted was the rhythm. On Jack and Jill, the rhythm pattern is, let's see where I've got that. I guess it's just on the bottom of this. You can see where I've written Jack and Jill went up the hill. And that's the rhythm pattern. Long, short, long, short, long, short, long. So it sounded like a song. It didn't sound like a bunch of random notes. It sounded like a song. That's another thing that I like to teach people. Is to think of different nursery rhymes, and there are a bazillion nursery rhymes out there. It took me 60 years to finally figure out why they taught me nursery rhymes in grade school. Now I know, so I can play my wood flute. I've got one that is kind of a favorite of mine that I like to play, and I always like to play kind of a guessing game with my class to see if they can figure out what song I'm playing, which nursery rhyme I'm playing. So here we go. Any guesses in this class of what that was?
Mary, Mary, quite contrary.
No, but that means it's working. In my head, it was giving me a rhythm pattern, but it wasn't sounding like something familiar to you, so my song was a song from the heart. It was improvised, but I was using Mary Had a Little Lamb. to play that tune. But it didn't necessarily sound like Mary Had a Little Lamb, but the rhythm was constantly the same. And that's what's important in our song, is to have our rhythm patterns be the same. And this is probably one of the most important parts of learning to play from the heart. This is not anything that's been written by anybody else. It's me or it's you making up a song as we go. And this is how the Native Americans played their wood flutes, is they made up their own song. They used this as a courting tool. This was the way the young Native American boys who were a little shy, a little bashful, would maybe attract the attention of a young girl that they were in love with, but maybe too shy to talk to. They would play their flutes, they would create their own songs, and if that young girl liked it, she might come his direction, and once they would get together, and if they got married, he would throw his flute away because he didn't want to attract the heart or the attention of another girl. There are as many legends out there of how the Native American flute was used as there are people who play flutes or tribes, whatever. But they do call it a courting tool. In fact, they have a song, the Lakota courting song. This goes on that short, long pattern. I'm not sure if the camera can catch that. But the song is played on a short, long, short, long, short, long. And that gives the rhythm of their song. And it may have been one of the songs that one of the young Indian boys played many years ago. And I don't know that they ever really wrote their music down. I don't believe they ever did until more modern times. And now your professional flute players, they will sit down and come up with little phrases that they want to play, and then they write it down so that they can play it the same way, so that when they perform there's consistency in the songs that they play. This is a little bit of the Lakota courting song. Messed that one up already. Let me try again. Anyway, that's Lakota courting song. That was the first line of that song. What I would like to have all of you try right now, and I'd like everybody in the room here to try that if you'd like, is just play a bunch of random notes, but kind of maybe figure out a rhythm pattern that you want to follow. Whether you want to have a short note, then a long note, a short note, then a long note. And a way to help you cheat on that one and make sure you can kind of follow that is Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill. It's short, long, short, long, short, long. And then I want you to just play any note on the pentatonic scale. And I like to have people put that pentatonic scale right in front of them on paper. And part of what we pass out in class are handouts and notes. I do like to pass out a handout with the pentatonic scale on it, so that you can look at that and just know what notes are part of the pentatonic scale, so that you can bounce around without having to stop and think about it. Now, a short and a long is up to you as to how short and how long you want it to be. You can pick and choose for yourself, but then I want you to just remember the rules of, if I want this finger to be my note, I've got to take everything up to this finger. If I want this finger to be my note, then everything except the ring finger on the top hand comes up so that that's keeping you in the scale. That makes the scale pretty easy. Okay, that sounded kind of like a song, a simple song. And I simply played random notes, just lifted fingers here, lifted fingers there. Would you feel comfortable if we go around the room and everybody play about a 10-second song of just random lifting your fingers and putting them down? And if you're not comfortable with it, just say pass. But John, would you like to start?
Do a nursery rhyme or what?
Yes, whatever.
What was the
whatever.
one you suggested?
I like Jack and Jill because it's just real simple and easy and gives a real easy rhythm to follow.
Is there a chance anybody has an extra cord for somehow I got out of the house without the tie?
I have rubber bands if you don't have a cord.
You have a rubber band? Let's do the rubber band.
Okay,
That holds it pretty tight.
Well prepared.
thank you. No.
It's right over there by the window.
Okay.
Good shot, John.
That was just the easiest way to get it over there.
We have fun in the class. Okay, John, go ahead and start. Good. Good. Marvelous. Good. 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 Okay. Nobody's song sounded exactly like anybody else's, but the rhythm there was the same. And each one had the makings of a song. Each one of them had rhythm to them. So always keep in mind that if you're kind of struggling to figure out what to do for a rhythm to your song, pull out a nursery rhyme or even a song that you're familiar with. Sometimes I will pull out a song. Anybody recognize that song?
It's familiar.
Silent Night.
Way to go. Silent Night, that was Silent Night. But it was nothing like Silent Night in the order of notes that I played, but it had that rhythm. And so you get good enough, you start picking up on these things. But most people in general are not gonna have any idea because the notes aren't going up at the right time or down at the right time. It's just the rhythm, 4/4 timing or whatever. But that helps to create and make a song instead of just random notes. Okay, that's basically our lesson for lesson number 2. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for looking at our video.